Hi students, happy morning to all. Welcome to 7th standard video. Today we are going to see term 2 unit 1. Term 2 unit 1 journey by train prose section 3. Already we saw section 1 and 2. Now we are going to see section 3 journey by train. Okay students, shall we move? Journey by train. This extract is taken from the classic adventures novel Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. One Englishman, Mr. Phileas Fogg, along with his French attendant, passport out, attempts to go around the world in 80 days on a wager of 20,000. 20,000, roughly 1.6 million today, said by his friends at the Reform Club. Read this extract where Phileas Fogg travels through some parts of India at a time when the railways were being built in the country. Some places are spelt differently as the book was written over a century ago. Jules Gabriel Verne. He was a French novelist, poet and playwright. Verne wrote a widely popular series of scrupulously researched adventure novels including Journey to the Center of the Earth in 1864, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in 1870 and Around the World in 80 Days in 1873. Verne has been the second most translated author in the world since 1979, ranking between Agatha Christie and William Shakespeare. He has sometimes been called the father of science fiction. A title that has also been given to H.G. Wells, Mary Shelley and Go Judson. Journey by train. The train had started punctually. Among the passengers were a number of officers, government officials and merchants. Passport out route in the same carriage with Mr. Fogg, and a third passenger occupied a seat opposite to them. This was Sir Francis Cromarty, one of the friends Mr. Fogg made on the ship Mongolia that brought him to Bombay. Now, at half past 12, the train stopped at Burhanpur. The travellers made a hasty breakfast and started off for Ashurhar. Now they travel along the banks of the small river Tapti, which empties into the Gulf of Cambrai near Surat. Then towards evening, the train entered the valleys of the Shudbor mountains, which separate the Hauntiers from Bundelkhand. It was 3 in the morning. The train stopped at 8 o'clock in the midst of a clearing some 15 miles beyond Rodal, where there were several bungalows and workmen's cabins. The conductor, pausing along the carriages, shouted, "Passenger will get out here." They had 2 days which they had already gained to sacrifice. A steamer leaves Calcutta for Hong Kong at noon on the 25th. This is the 22nd, and we shall reach Calcutta in time. Now, section 3. Mr. Fogg and Sir Francis Cromarty, after searching the village from end to end, came back without having found anything. Mr. Fallis said that he should go on foot. Passepartout, who had now rejoined his master, made an unhappy face as he thought of his magnificent Indian shoes. Happily, he too had been looking about him, and after a moment's hesitation. What does mean by hesitation? Hesitations mean unwilling. He thought he had found a means of conveyance. Conveyance means transportation. An elephant that belongs to an Indian who lives but 100 steps from there. Kyuani. This was the name of the animal. Could doubleless travel rapidly for a long time. Rapidly means quickly. And in the absence of any other means of transport, Mr. Fogg resolved to hire him. When therefore Mr. Fogg proposed this to the elephant's owner, he refused point blank. Point blank means bluntly. Point blank means bluntly. Mr. Fogg persisted means continued. Mr. Fogg continued, offering the excessive sum of 10 pounds on her for the loan of the animal to Allahabad. Allahabad refused. 20 pounds refused. 40 pounds still refused. Phileas Fogg, without getting in the least flurried means worried, then proposed to purchase the animal outright and at first offered £1,000 for him. The owner, perhaps thinking he was going to make a great bargain, still refused. Mr. Fogg offered first 1,200, then 1,500, 1,800, 20,000 pounds. Prosper was fairly white with suspense. At 2,000 pounds, the man yielded. Yielded mean accepted. Yielded mean accepted. Prosper out cried and said, "Good heavens, what a price for an elephant." A young man with an intelligent face offered his services as a guide, which Mr. Fogg accepted, promising to show generations a reward as to greatly increased his jail. The elephant was led out and equipped. The man, who was a skilled elephant driver, covered the elephant's back with a sort of saddle cloth and attached to each of its sides some uncomfortable howdahs. Howdahs is set for riding on the back of an elephant. Phileas Fogg paid the elephant owner with some banknotes which he extracted from the famous carpet bag, an action that made poor Prosper out lose his breath. While Sir Francis and Mr. Fogg took the howdahs on either side, Prosper out got into the saddle cloth between them. The driver perched means position. The driver perched himself on the elephant's neck, and at 9 o'clock they set out from the village, the animal marching up through the dense forest of palms by the shortcut. Okay, students, now glossary. Hesitation, unwilling. Conveyance, transportation. Rapidly, quickly. Persisted, continued. Refused, not willing. Point blank, bluntly. Flurried, worried. Yielded, accepted. Howdahs, a shed for riding on the back of an elephant. Carpet bag. Mr. Phileas Fogg left down with a very little luggage. All his money was in the carpet bag. Perched, position. Okay, students. I hope we enjoyed and learned about journey by train, section 1, 2 and 3. Thank you, students. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you. Have a nice day.